Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Baking Bakers. I'm Nathan. I'm here with my mom, Lisa. And what are we making today, Mom?
We are making garlic breadsticks. Delicious and super easy.
Okay.
All right. So this is a yeast bread, but I don't want that to scare you. Yeast breads are not hard. The first thing we're going to do is to come over here.
What are we doing over here?
We have to get our...
Let me move the camera so you can see.
Sorry, I should have told you. All right, the first thing we're going to do is activate our yeast. I don't usually check my temperature of my water. I've done it enough that I just know how warm it needs to be. I like it to be between 110 and 115. We're at 112, which is just perfect. I'm going to put a tablespoon of yeast in, and yeast needs something to feed on to make it grow. So we're going to put half a teaspoon of sugar. We're going to give that a little stir, and then we're going to let it set for about 5 minutes until it's bubbly. This is the yeast that I use. It comes in a jar. You can buy it with the other yeast. I make a lot of yeast bread, so it makes more sense to buy it in a jar than in the little packets. All right, while that's working, we're going to go over to the counter and start some other things.
Okay, we're back over here at the counter. What's first, Mom?
All right, first we're going to put about a cup of flour in this bowl. Right here's a cup of flour. We're going to add to that, gosh, I can't remember how much sugar. 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And that's in addition to the half a teaspoon we already used. We're going to add a tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning.
Any particular brand or just
Nope, anything you have. And a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, not garlic salt. That will make it very salty. We're going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit.
Ooh, I can smell that Italian seasoning.
To that, we're going to add the water and the butter. And that is 2 cups of warm water and 1/2 of a cup of unsalted butter melted. We'll stir that up good. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring our yeast mixture over. Look at that. That is nice and bubbly. It's active. It's working. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. Let me get a spatula. We're going to stir that all together. And then we're going to add enough flour to make a nice dough. So I have, in this bowl, I have 6 cups of flour. I may use all 6 cups. I may not use all 6 cups. So we'll see.
This is a little lumpy. Is that okay?
It is okay. Smells very Italian.
Yes, it does.
Too bad we don't have smell-o-vision. I'm just going to have him keep incorporating until we get that dough to where we can handle it with our hands. And then we're going to do some old-fashioned hand kneading, which is my preferred way of making yeast breads. I have a daughter that does a ton of bread, and she mixes all of her dough in a mixer with a dough hook. I prefer kneading it by hand. I think it's relaxing. It's a good thing to do if you're mad. You can get your aggressions out. I used to go into the school, a local school where he was a student, and I used to do a bread unit every year, and I would tell the kids to make bread when they're angry, because you can just really work that dough. All right, let's go ahead and dump that out on this counter. I'll flour it just a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Now, kneading dough is basically just pushing it with the palm of your hand, turning it a quarter turn, pushing it with the palm of your hand, turning it a quarter turn. And you just keep doing that until, and you have to add a little flour now and then if it's sticking to things. So it's kind of one of those things you just kind of get a feel for. I'm going to try to show you the best I can what it should look like. So I'm just pushing it out with the heel of my hand, turning it a quarter turn, pushing it out. And that stretches those glutens, makes it nice dough to work with. I'm gonna knead it for maybe 5-ish minutes. Depends on how it feels. Once we've kneaded it, we're gonna sit it back in the bowl. We're gonna cover it with a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna let it rest for about 20 minutes at least, up to an hour. We probably won't rest it for a full hour for this, but you can if you need to or want to, depending on your timing for your meal. This pairs really well with any pasta dish, lasagna, enchiladas, just about anything. And you certainly don't have to limit to Italian food. You can have it with steak. All right, we're getting there. It's not taking that long. Quarter turn, push it out with my palm. Quarter turn, push it out. And just keep making sure that it's not sticking to my counter. It's important to rest the dough after you've kneaded it so that gluten develops, so the texture is really nice and bready, which is what we're looking for, a nice soft bread. While I'm doing this, let me tell you a little story about my apron. My son here, Nathan, when he was in middle school, he had to take home ec, back in the days when they still had home ec. And one of the things that they did was a sewing unit. And for his sewing unit, he made this amazing apron. And I've kept it all these years, and I still use it.
Still works.
It still works. It's awesome. And one day, he and his friend, my parents also did a lot of sewing. And one day, he and his friend were at my parents' house, and they asked Grandma for some fabric. And she let him pick out some fabric because she had a big stash. And they said, "But don't come to the sewing room." Okay. So she gave him some fabric and she let him loose, and they made her an apron, which was very sweet. So
Skills. I have skills.
he does. All right, I think we're about good. See how this is formed? Nice. It's not lumpy anymore. It stretches and it's in a nice ball. We're just going to put it right back in the bowl that it came out of. I'm going to get a little olive oil to spread on there so it doesn't dry out. Just a little bit. All right. Now I'm going to just cover that with a towel and let it rest for at least 20 minutes. Preferably in a nice warm place. So I'm going to put it over here by my stove, and I was just doing some baking earlier, so it's a little warm yet. While that's resting, I like to clean up my ingredients so that I'm ready for the next section.
You ready?
Yes. All right, we have let our dough rest for 20 minutes, and now we're going to bring it over and we're going to divide it into 4 sections, and each of those sections we're going to divide into 6 sections, and we're going to roll them into our breadsticks, sorry. So we'll just cut this in half. I don't have one of those fancy dough dividers, so
If enough of you start watching this, we'll be able to get some better equipment.
All right, then we're gonna divide each of these into 6.
Gotta cut those in half. That's 3. You need half of each of those.
While he's cutting that section, I'm gonna start rolling into a breadstick. And you just take that bread and roll it out evenly, sort of smash the ends in so it's not, doesn't look so much like a worm, more like a breadstick. And then we're gonna put it on our baking sheet, and I've lined this with parchment paper for easy cleanup. These smell so good already. I like to put them pretty close so that they, so that when they bake up, they touch, and then they don't get hard and crusty. And this is gonna make 24, which is about enough for Nathan.
4 times 6.
So this takes about an hour, hour and 15 minutes total. It's really pretty fast and easy. While your dinner's in the oven, you can make these up. You can also do it ahead of time and just warm them up in the microwave. Or they're delicious cold as well.
Didn't do a very good job making these even.
Sometimes they get a little wonky. That's okay, they still taste delicious.
Got a big one there.
Notice mine are nice and even. Okay, we're gonna cover these with a towel and we're just gonna let them rest while we heat up our oven to 400 degrees. Okay, our oven is preheated to 400 degrees. We're gonna get these in the oven and they're gonna be in for 13 to 15 minutes. All right, while they're baking, we're gonna move the camera and do the final step. Okay, our rolls are just about done and we're gonna do this final step. So what I have here is a 1/4 cup of butter that I melted. I'm gonna add to that 1 teaspoon Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a pinch of salt. And if you don't know what a pinch of salt is, it's about that much. We're gonna stir it up, and then when the rolls come out of the oven, we're gonna brush them with this mixture. After we brush them with this mixture, we're gonna put Parmesan cheese on some of them, but you don't want the fancy, expensive kind, because that won't stick nearly as well. You want the grated, regular cheese, so that's what we'll be using. All right, our timer's going off, so let's take a look. Oh yeah, fantastic. last thing to do is to brush them with the butter mixture. Our whole family doesn't like cheese, so we're only gonna put...
We don't all like cheese. It's me.
So we're only gonna put cheese on some of them.
I told you that when we started this, that I'm a little bit of a picky eater. Cheese is the big one. Yes, it's true.
Any kind. You can't sneak cream cheese into anything.
I do eat pizza.
And he also likes the boxed powdered cheese that comes with Kraft macaroni and cheese.
And Doritos. That's, you know.
If there's one thing our family does love, it's bread. So this is going to be a big hit. And I'm sure it will be a big hit with your family as well. We had almost exactly the amount of butter mixture that we needed. We'll just use that up.
We also like butter. Butter is good.
We do like butter. And then the only thing left to do you can show them how that one looks. Tear it apart.
I want that one.
Oh, right.
The one without the cheese.
The one without the cheese. Sorry.
Huh? Huh? Ooh, steaming hot still.
Very hot. Oh yeah, super soft, just delicious. We hope you enjoy them as much as we do. Have a great day.
Hold on, we're not done.
Oh, hold on.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give our video a thumbs up. We appreciate you guys following along. You can follow us on other social medias over at Facebook, Instagram. We're getting all of that stuff going. And yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.